Today we are going to be going over Excel. We're on chapter 13 in your book. Excel is your spreadsheet software. Um, Spreadsheets, a group of values and other data organized into rows and columns. And you can create, of course, and analyze and present your data using Microsoft Excel 2016 or just Excel. Alright, if you don't know where Excel is on your computer, if you will go to your Start button, if it's not in this quick list here, of course you can go to All Programs and look for your Microsoft Office folder, or you can go here in this search area at the bottom and just type in Excel, and of course it will come up and you can click on it so that you can open up Excel. Alright, once you bring Excel up, your recent screen is what opens in Backstage View. Click the blank worksheet right here. Alright, a new untitled workbook opens to the first sheet. Notice here it says Book 1 and here it says Sheet 1. Okay. If the Excel window is not maximized, you'll click the button. Of course, right here is your maximize and minimize. I've got two sets of it open. Okay, right here. So you can take it full screen or you can minimize. Alright. You can change your zoom right down here. You can zoom in or zoom out. Okay. On the quick access toolbar, click the save button. Okay, that's right here. That's your save button. We're going to save the workbook as frame up inventory. We're going to browse our desk. We're going to go to our desktop, or I am. You may be saving yours on your flash drive, so you just navigate to your area. I'm going to save mine right here in my Excel Chapter 13 folder on my desktop. Alright, it's going to save it as an Excel workbook. Just click Save after you name it. Notice up here that my name reflects my new name that I gave my workbook. Alright, the worksheet area is here. This is your worksheet area where your rows and columns are. Notice my plus sign pointer. And A1 appears up here in my name box because it is the box that's selected. Column A, row 1. If we click on cell A5, that cell now has the green box around it. It's changed up here to indicate that A5 is your active box there in the name box. If I press the tab key, B5 becomes my active cell. If I press the page down key, we move down one full screen, and in the name box I have a new reference cell, which is B24. Alright, I'm going to click the name box to make it active, and I'm going to type in D4 and hit enter. It moves to D4 and that becomes your active cell, and that is also your new reference cell. Press Control Home. And that takes you back to A1. Alright, to insert and delete sheets, to the right of sheet 1, we're going to click here on the little plus sign to add a new sheet. Okay. and it is sheet 2, and it becomes your active sheet. If we right click again on the new sheet, we now have sheet 3 to the right of sheet 2. And then if I right click on the sheet 3 tab, there's a little pop-up list that comes up, and I can choose delete, and now I'm back to sheets 1 and 2. So that's how you can add and delete sheets. I'm going to click sheet 1 to make it my active sheet. Click sheet 2, and that makes that sheet the active sheet, so you can toggle back and forth. On sheet 2, we're going to change the zoom to 120. Okay. You can rename your sheets in your workbook. So if I double click on sheet 1, my cursor's in there, and I can take out sheet 1 and change it to inventory. Okay, and hit enter. That renames that sheet. We can double click sheet 2, and I can rename it to documentation. Hit enter. Okay, so I've renamed my sheets. With the documentation sheet active, we can click here, but don't pick up on your mouse, or don't release your mouse button, and I can drag it in front of inventory and change the order of my sheets. Okay, so you can create your sheets and then change the order. Alright, in the documentation sheet, in cell A1, type frame up. As you type, the text will appear in both cell A1 and in the formula bar. Okay, and we can go in and double click and edit. But notice here and here, this is the formula bar. It shows what is in that active cell. Alright, press enter. The text is entered and the active cell is moved to cell A2. Press the enter key again to move down to A3. Type author and hit the tab key. That makes B3 your active cell. In cell B3, enter your name. And then hit enter. It takes you back to cell A4, becomes your active cell. Type date and press the tab key. The active cell now moves to B4, where you will later enter the date you created the workbook. Alright, click cell A5 to make it your active cell. Type purpose. Press the tab key to record current inventory. And press enter. Okay. This cell is too long to fit in cell B5. So, but because cell C5 is empty, the text flows into C5 and you can still see everything. Now click the Inventory Sheet tab and press the enter key. The label is entered. Let's see. A1 is active, so type in inventory date. Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. We are picking up on page 387, step 9, We're in cell A1 on our inventory sheet, and we just put in inventory date, and we need to click enter. That moves us to cell A2. Um, Enter in the following column labels there in step 11 in row 2, pressing the tab after each entry. Alright, click cell A3, the start of the next row, where you want to begin entering the customer data. And then we're going to enter in the items there in step 13 on page 388. Alright, we're going to enter that big long thing in cell B3 and then press enter. You have entered the first artist in the print title and moved to cell A4. So then the items there in step 14 is going to be entered in cells A4 through B7. Alright, so you'll notice that some of these items are too wide, especially here, cell A7, that our entry is too wide for the cell. Okay, and that since there's something in B7, you can't see all of A7. Okay. But your formula bar shows the complete entry even though you can't see it all here. Okay. We will learn how to fix that later when we format our document. Now let's make our documentation sheet, our active sheet. Alright, active cell, we're going to make it A1. Alright, on the Home tab in the font group, we're going to click the font arrow box right here. And we're going to choose Calibri Light Headings. Okay. In the font group, we're going to click the font size and we're going to change it to 24 from 11. Okay. We're going to also click on bold. And in the color group, right here, in the standard colors section, we're going to click the dark blue color. Remember, use your screen tip to identify the correct color. The company name will then change to dark blue. Right here. Okay? Now we're going to switch back to our inventory sheet. And we're going to click cell C3 right here. Although it looks like cell C3 contains text, this is overflow from B3, and you can see in the formula bar that C3 is empty. Alright, we're going to type in the number 27. And then to the left of the formula bar, we're going to click this checkbox. Okay? The inventory quantity of the Klimt print is entered in C3. Now that cell C3 contains data, the excess from B3 cannot be seen in C3 anymore. We're going to click in D3. And we're going to enter 39.99 and press enter. Alright, we are on page 389 in your book. We're going to enter more data there at the top of the page in step 4. We're going to put in cell C4, we're going to put 13. And in cell D4, we're going to put $12.99. In C5, we're going to put 24. And $16.99 is the price. Alright. In cell C6, we're going to type in a 3 and hit tab. And we're going to put in $18.50. In D6, and then to the left of the formula bar, we're going to click the arrow button again, or the check mark. Alright, notice that accepting the formula got rid of the ending 0. We're going to make cell D6 the active cell if necessary. And we're going to look at formatting our numbers. Click C7 and put in 19. And we're going to click our check mark again. Alright, in D7 we're going to type $64.50. And then to the left of the formula bar, we're going to click the enter button, check mark again. In the formula bar, the value is 64.5 without the dollar sign or any zero. In the normal format box, currency is selected right up here. Currency is selected. The currency format was automatically applied because you typed the dollar sign. Alright, in the number group, click the accounting number format button right here. And the dollar sign shifts to the left edge of the cell. In the number group, click the decrease decimal button right here. Twice. Alright, so then it changes it to 65. In the formula bar, the value is still 64.5. All you have done is change the format of the number and how it is shown in the page. In the number group, click the increase decimal button twice to display the currency again. On the Home tab in the Clipboard group, double-click the Format Painter button, then click cell D3. Right here, that's your Format Painter. Double-click it to make it active, and we're going to click cell D3. Okay, the counting format is copied from D7 to D3. We're also going to copy it to D4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then hit Escape to get out of Format Painter. Alright, now we're going to look at entering dates. Date data is commonly recognized formats for date time values. It shows you some common formats there on page 391 in your book at the bottom of the first column. It shows you the ones that Excel recognizes in their common formats. Okay, so then on we're going to enter our dates. We're going to go on the inventory sheet. We're going to click on cell B1. We're going to type June 22nd, 2017, and hit the Tab key. The date you typed appears in cell B1, but it reformats it. Okay. We're going to click cell B1 again. And in the formula bar, the value is 6/22/2017 right here. Make the documentation sheet your active sheet. Click cell B4. And we're going to put in 6-22-17 and hit the enter button on our formula bar right here. The date appears as in the cell as it appears in your formula bar. Alright, go back to your inventory sheet. Click cell B1 again if it's not already your active one. Alright, on the Home tab in the Numbers group, the number format box displays Custom right here. We're going to click the number format arrow, and we're going to click Short Date right here. The date is changed to a short date format because the date in the short date format is too wide to fit in the cell. A series of pound signs appears in your cell. Okay, we're going to see how to fix that in a few minutes. Alright, double click the cell. No, double click cell D3. Sorry, excuse me. Double click D3. The formatting disappears from the cell and the insertion point is blinking in the cell. Press the right arrow key as many times as necessary to move the insertion point to the end of the cell after the second 9. Press the backspace key twice. Type 5. And then press enter. The new cost is now $39.50. Alright, now we're going to look at selecting rows and columns. We're going to point to column A header. Notice how your arrow changes to a solid black downward pointing arrow. And then we're going to press the mouse button. The entire column A is selected. Press and hold the shift key. And then we're going to click column C header. Okay, hang on. Alright. Columns A through C are now selected. Press and hold the Control key and click column F. Okay. Column A through C and F are now selected. Click the column A header but do not release the mouse button. Without releasing the mouse, drag to column B and then release the mouse. Both columns A and B will be selected. Alright, point to row 2. And then click the row 2 header so that row is selected. Drag down to row 7 and then release your mouse button. All rows are now selected. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect highlighted items. Point to the column header B's right border. Notice that your pointer changes to a solid line with an arrow pointing in either direction. Drag to the right until the screen tip identifies the width of the column as 22 characters. Notice here we got a width of 9 or 68 pixels. Okay. Then release your mouse. The width of the column is expanded to 22 characters, and all of the title in column B except the title in B3 fit and is now visible. Okay. Point to column A header right border so that the pointer changes to the double arrow, and then double click. Alright, that's the best fit. When you double click the border, it will widen the column to fit the biggest piece of data that's in that column. Select column C and D. And then drag the right border of the column D header to the right until the column width changes to about 12 characters. Okay. And then release your mouse. Both of the selected columns were widened at the same time. Select column E. On the Home tab in the Cells group, click the Format button. Auto Fit Column Width. Okay. Click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect your columns. Alright, now we're to inserting columns and rows. Click cell C1. On the Home tab in the Cells group, click the Insert button arrow. The Insert button menu will appear. Click Insert Sheet Columns. Alright, the menu closes and a new column C is inserted into the worksheet, shifting the columns to the right of the new column. The new column has the same width as the column to the left, column B. Click cell C2 and type in stock number and press enter. Enter the following data in cells C3 through C7. They're in step 4 on page 395. Alright, now we want to auto fit the contents of column C. So we're going to select the column and we're going to do an auto fit. We're going to click the row 2 header. The entire row will then be selected. On the Home tab in the Cells group, click the Insert button. Alright, a new row 2 is inserted and the remaining rows are shifted down. Click the row 7 header so that row 7 is selected and press the delete key. The values are cleared from the row and row 7 remains selected. On the Home tab in the Cells group, click the delete button. The row is deleted and the rows below shift up. Alright, selecting a range. Click cell A1, but do not release the mouse button. This cell will be the cell in the upper left corner of the range A1 through F7. Drag your pointer down to cell F7 and release the mouse button. The cells you drag over are shaded in except for A1, and they are surrounded by a green border. The first cell you click, cell A1, remains white to indicate it is the active cell in the worksheet. Click any cell in the worksheet to deselect your range. Select the adjacent range A3 through A7. So you'll click A3 and drag through A7 holding the mouse down. Press and hold the Control key and select D3 through E7. Okay. So since more than one set, then release the Control key. All of the cells in the non-adjacent range are selected. Click any cell to deselect these. Select the adjacent range A3 through F3. Because more than one cell is selected, any formatting applied will affect all cells. On the Home tab, in the font group, click the Bold button. Then the entries in the selected range are formatted as bold. Click any cell in the worksheet to deselect the range. Now select the range A1 and B1. Move the pointer over the bottom border of the selected range so that the pointer changes to the four-sided arrow. Press and hold the mouse button to change the pointer to a solid white arrow. Drag the selection down 8 rows to row 9. But do not release the mouse button. A screen tip appears indicating the new range reference for the selected cells will be A9 and B9. When the screen tip displays the range, release the mouse button. The selected cells move to the new location. Alright. Make sure that range is still selected. On the Home tab in the Clipboard group, click the Cut button, which is the scissors. The selected range is surrounded by a blinking border, which indicates that the contents are stored on the clipboard. And then go up and click cell A1. And then go back to your clipboard group and click the Paste button. Alright, so you have cut and pasted the area back, and then the clipboard is now empty. Select the range B3 through C4. Okay. On the Home tab in the Cells group, click the Insert button arrow to open the Insert button menu. On the Insert button menu, click the Insert Cells. In the Insert dialog box opens, refer to Exhibit 13-21 on page 398 in your book. The Shift Cells Down option button is selected because this is the most likely action you will take for the selected range. Click OK. Make sure the range B3 through C4 is still selected. In the Cells group, click the Delete button arrow. On the Delete button menu, click the Delete Cells. Your little pop-up will come up again. The Shift Cells Up option is selected by default, and we're going to click OK. That's what we want to do. Alright. This just shows you how you can change and move around items in your workbook or worksheet. Make cell B4 the active cell. The title of the print extends past the right border. On the Home tab in the Alignment group, click the Wrap Text button. The button is selected, the text in cell B4 wraps to a second line so that the entire title is now visible and the row height will increase to allow for this. Alright, now let's talk about entering a formula. A formula is a mathematical expression that returns a value. In most cases, this is a number, although it can also be text or a date. Alright, every Excel formula begins with an equal sign followed by an expression that describes the operations to be done. Alright, a formula is written using operators that combine different values, returning a single value that is then displayed in the cell. The most commonly used operators are arithmetic operators that perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or exponentiation. Alright, and it shows your operators and the functionality there in Exhibit 13-23 on your book, page 400. Alright, so we're going to work through entering formulas on page 400. Step 1, we're going to make cell F4 our active cell. In cell F4, type an equal sign to begin the formula. The equal sign indicates that you are entering a formula rather than data. After the equal sign, type D so that the formula so far is equal D. A list of Excel function names starting with the letter D appears. You can ignore this for now. You'll learn more about that later on. We're going to type a 4 so that the formula so far is D4. The function list closes because no function name beginning with D4 exists. Cell D4 is surrounded by a blue border and is shaded to visually indicate which cell you are referring to in the formula. The corresponding cell reference D4 in the formula you are typing is colored the same blue. Alright, cell D4 contains the current inventory of the print. Put a multiplication sign in, or your asterisk, that's your multiplication sign, and then type E4. And now E4 has a red border and shading, and the cell reference E4 in the formula changes to the same red. Cell E4 contains the unit cost for each print. To enter the formula, we're going to click the Enter button on our formula bar right here. Alright, and our value is calculated and now shows up in cell F4. Okay. Now click in cell F5 and then type an equals. Click on cell D5 to select it. Put our multiplication symbol in. Click on cell E5 and then again accept our formula. Okay. Now click the formula bar. Your cell is if we click up here, our formula is displayed. Okay. If we click in the formula bar, it will show our formula again there in our sheet. Okay. Press the escape key. Now we're going to learn to copy and paste our formulas. Right. So we're going to click in cell F4. Alright. On the Home tab in the clipboard group, we're going to click the Copy button, which is right here. The formula is copied to the clipboard. Okay. Click cell F6 and then click the Paste button. Okay. The selected cell up in the formula bar, it now shows the D6 times E6 is our new formula for that cell. Make cell F7 our active cell. That and then paste the contents of the clipboard there as well. Okay, and that formula is D7 times E7. Now hit Escape to deactivate our clipboard. Alright, now let's look at entering a function. Make cell D8 our active cell. Type equals, and then type in the word sum. Okay. Open paren. The list of functions closes and a screen tip appears showing how the sum function should be written. Alright, select the range D4 through D7. Alright, and it fills in our range for us. Close parentheses and hit the tab key. Alright, the calculated value of the sum function is now in cell D8, indicating the total inventory is 83 prints. Alright, let's go to cell F8 and we're going to hit the auto sum button, which is right here. Alright, it automatically puts in the sum function and chooses the values F4 through F7, which is what we want, so hit the enter key, and it puts the total inventory value in that cell. Okay. Now then, let's look at our different worksheet views. On the right end of the status bar, click the page layout button. Right here. See the little screen tip? There's our page layout button. The page layout of the worksheet appears in the workspace. The data appears on 2 pages. On the status bar, click the page break preview button. The view switches to a page break preview, which shows only those parts of the current worksheet that will print. A dotted blue line separates one page from another. Change the zoom level to 120. So that you can more easily read the contents. Make your documentation sheet the active sheet. Make the inventory the active sheet. Documentation worksheet is still normal view. We're going to go back to our inventory sheet, and we're going to go back to normal view with it as well. Okay. On the ribbon, click the page layout tab. On the menu, click orientation and choose landscape. The page orientation changes to landscape, and the dotted line moves to between columns I and J. If you scroll over, you can see that it's moved between I and J to indicate the new page break. On the status bar, click the page layout button, and the inventory worksheet contents now fits on one page. On the status bar, go back to normal view, and let's look at preview and printing a worksheet. On the ribbon, click the File tab. Navigate down to Print. We're in Backstage View in our print area. At the top of the left column in the Copies box, make sure it says 1. If the printer to which you want to print is not already listed, click the printer button and choose your desired printer right here in this. It'll give you a list to pick from. In the settings group, click the Print Active Sheets button, which is right here, and then click Print Entire Workbook right here. You would change that to Print Entire Workbook. We're not actually going to print, we're just looking at the print setup. Okay. Alright, so you have your preview of your documents. There's your documentation page, and then there's your inventory sheet. Okay. All right. Come back to here. Okay, so that's what it would look like if you printed it. It's giving you a preview. We're not actually going to print. Well, you can if you want to, but you don't have to. Alright, but you would just, now that you have it all set up, you would just hit the print button. Alright, we're going to hit the arrow and go back over to our workbook out of backstage view. And we're going to make sure we save our workbook. Make your documentation sheet your active sheet. Alright, click there in A2. Click Save right here. Or you can do a file save. Either one. They both save your workbook, okay? That concludes Chapter 13. So, you would close out Excel if you were finished. When you go to load your assignment, wherever you've saved it, I suggest having your Excel Chapter 13 folder, but make sure that when you go to submit your assignment that you upload your frame up inventory.excelSX Excel workbook into the assignment link and submit it. Okay, make sure that you add this. Alright, if you have any questions, make sure that you email me and let me know. And that concludes the video for Chapter 13.